They say that women-owned and women-started companies are increasing, and probably, I don't know if they're the majority, but they're growing at a faster rate, and they're showing up more in this data. And also immigrants coming to this country and starting companies are having a more of an impact in here. High-growth companies are across every geographical region. You can find really high-growth companies in every single county in the U.S. And they also, according to the statistics and the data that some of the researchers have been using this, say that it isn't about the industry at all. The ability to kind of have a passion and to be able to have a variety of ways to pursue that passion economically and create revenue from that is just growing exponentially because of technology and the internet. So business planning is important when you know the model. But if you've got an idea that still has some innovation in front of it and you're not sure what the need is, you should spend more time talking to the potential customers. And so this is this whole lean concept that says spend time with your customers, because you might even change your idea. We're doing this now with scientists who have ideas before the National Science Foundation, when they're now running their scientists who are trying to commercialize their technologies, saying, before you really dip too far into learning more about that technology or that science, let's go talk about the people who would talk to the people who would use it, because maybe what you learn from them will change even how you're designing it or what you're building for it. So that whole mentality of talking to the customers is kind of, it makes sense, but it's something new that's kind of hit this whole thing. So we're seeing this now at undergraduate level for businesses and even for larger companies to begin thinking about it. But for that person who's 40, taking that leap, I mean, first of all, that life cycle of that job of that person might go to 70, 75.
Yep.
That may not be ending at 55 or 60. And the options that that person has to do things on their own or to kind of work for a number of other companies as an independent contractor are increasing. So, but they're getting their money either from their credit card, from their mortgage, from their equity in their house, from their friends and family, or by partnering with other people and combining them. Innovation and information about strategic intelligence and about markets is kind of the next new frontier of how we interact with these companies and help them to grow. Often people talk about young companies being the ones that are growing right now, but I think that it's not the age of the company, it's the attitude of the leaders and the company at the time, and are they innovating new to kind of find new information, to build new markets, to increase market share, to add new products, those types of things. So what I see is that the opportunities to interact with more markets globally, with more markets technologically, with more people who are interested in doing business together with each other, with other companies, the flexibility to kind of move around and adjust as you learn things to develop those markets, and the attitude about financing institutions and economic developers and educators to support that kind of a lifestyle is kind of where we have to go. So I think there's a role both for education, higher ed, and economic development to play a new role with these kinds of companies. And I think, so already education and the system does a great number of things. Research and technology and research and development, workforce, adding workforce, continuing education, executive education, small business development. But the new frontier for growth for these companies is learning more and learning new ways to achieve markets, to build markets, particularly external markets away from where they exist, because that's where all the competition is at. And I think it's time for education to step in and say, maybe we should begin looking at serving these smaller, high potential companies and understanding what things we can do with information. So incentivizing faculty to be more involved with those kind of companies. How do we do that? Because right now they're incentivized more for research than they are for interacting with those kinds of companies.